I'm Jason Barclay. I'm a second generation Scientologist. I was born into Scientology.
It was your mother who got you involved in it, right?
Yeah.
How did she get involved in it?
When she was young, I don't know what the exact story is, but I think her and my dad got into it together. I think one of them read Dianetics or something, and they thought it was pretty cool, and they ended up joining one of the orgs as staff, and they had disagreements at the time, and these were, I don't know, back in the 80s or whatever, with what the church was doing. And my dad, surprisingly enough, just totally left Scientology. Well, obviously I understand why now, but at that time he didn't want anything to do with Scientology when the Golden Age of Tech came out. I don't remember what year that was, but until that time they were just kind of being staff, checking it out. And he's like, no, there's no way. Underage said that it's already written and they're changing it, And he was, and honestly, those people are the true Scientologists, the ones that just walk away, fight or walk away. And my mom, she stuck in. She didn't want to give up on the dream. She didn't want to. It was too real for her, so she stayed in, and she got sucked in very, very hardcore. And me and my sister, we kind of lived a poor lifestyle, even though she was making very good money.
Because she was giving it to them.
Yeah, being completely drained of every last penny. And for a while she was not even on the bridge, but she still didn't have any money because she had up to like $250,000 in debt to different people, institutions, and so on. She was. There's a saying that if you come to Flag without money, don't worry, they'll help you borrow.
Flag for me is just perfection, perfection, perfection.
Hello, and welcome to Flag. I'm Debbie Cook, captain of the Flag Service Organization.
It's totally true. And if you know anyone, if you're friends with anyone that has money, you will get it from them. So as you kind of go up the level, as far as I hear from OTs, you don't have friends anymore. And I used to joke with
because
my
they're
mom.
tired of being hit on for cash.
Yeah. It's just that's it. It's like friends are too expensive at that point. And I used to joke with my mom, if a recruiter comes to ask money from you, tell him, I would ask to borrow money from one of my friends, but I don't have any more. Hey, do you want to be my friend?
Borrow it from them then.
Yeah, but that's generally how they...
So from her point of view, they were pressuring her to say, give up your college fund money because it's the greatest. It's the greatest good to give that money to the church than to have you get a college education or your family benefit in any way.
Completely. They called it WOG education, which means non-Scientologist.
Right.
And all that data is
worthless, bogus data. So then how did you end up getting into the Sea Org?
I got into the Sea Org. I signed up first when I was 13 years old. I went with my mom on a trip to Flag. And I was swimming around the pool, jumping between pool and jacuzzi with my sister, and some recruiters, came up to me and they're like, we want you to help save the world. And I was like, okay. Fresh, young.
Naive.
Sure, sounds good. They even promised I'd be able to teach martial art classes, which I was really happy about as a 13-year-old. They're like...
So they knew what you liked and they made promises that were targeted for you.
Completely. Like it's just they'll there's no limit to the amount of false promises they'll make. No limit.
And when you got in, no.
What was funny is just before that they're like, no, we can't have you just join right away because we need to make sure it's okay with your mom. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So they bring my mom into a room with us and they're like, so it's okay with your son joining the Sea Org, right? And it's like she's on the level. She's on OT7. She says no, she's getting declared. That's it. She won't be able to talk with me anyway. You know, I don't think if you're 13 you would really, you know, do that. But yeah, so that was, you know, how I got in. And
so wait, she didn't want you in?
No.
But so they were going to declare her right there for saying.
Yeah,
saying
if she said no in that meeting, they would have declared her.
I see. She would have been excommunicated instantly for not giving up her child.
They would have tried to. They would have fought to still get me in the Sea Org anyway. It's like, well, since your mother's, then they have legal issues of not having author. You know, I don't know. It would have been messy. Yeah, very messy. So the amount of intention that they had in talking to her then had all that in mind. So she said yes, you know.
And you were 13.
13.
Did you then what happened to
you? At that time, I went into the EPF, and I was on the
Estates Project course. That's the training.
Lots of physical stuff, cleaning.
Right, maintenance, and that's sort of your like boot camp for the Sea Org, right?
I think I was doing that 10 hours a day, then 5 hours a day of study.
So you go through that boot camp, and then you become the Sea Org.
Right. There is something amazing about that boot camp, that when you go through it, you feel powerful, you feel able, you feel like you can take on the world before you get mutilated.